Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about The Watch, a very special tabletop role-playing game created by Kreider and Andrew Medeiros. It's a PBTA game that came out in 2017, and specifically I'm going to be giving my review of specific types of moves within the game. So those moves are MC moves, how they handled secondary moves, how they handled battle moves, mission moves, and threat moves. Okay. All right. So basically, within this game, moves are essentially things that player characters can do, and they're attached to the class of the player. Okay. MC moves are specifically so player characters have moves, and additionally, the MC has moves. The MC is the mistress of ceremonies within the Watch, and specifically the mistress of ceremonies is the GM, the game master. Okay, so that's the term that PBTA uses specifically for GM. MC equals GM in PBTA games, powered by the Apocalypse games. So let's talk about secondary moves. So secondary moves include mission moves, hardships, and mission. So secondary moves are done at mission, hardship, and session. Okay, they include resist shadow, which you use the attribute valor to do that. When you fail, you take shadow for a period. Okay, so your player character would take shadow for a period. A secondary move could be surrender to weariness. And this is equal to your number of weariness. So it adds to your weariness. Your weariness has a number value within this game. And then also a secondary move is a deliver eulogy. So this is a move within this game, and this just really gives you an idea of how the Watch approaches moves, things your characters can do. So delivering a eulogy, your PC. But when a PC dies, another PC delivers a eulogy, and they convert their weariness value to experience or to jaded. But the player character actually has to do it. They have to give the eulogy for another player character. This is really awesome. I think this is a really cool aspect where there's a mechanical reward for giving a speech when another player dies. So again, I think there's just so many ideas that I would really love to see taken from the Watch, put directly into Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition. There's a lot of ideas within the Watch that can be ported right over into other games, right? So I think that's really important. Again, every game master should read the Watch. It's really important. All right, so those are examples of secondary moves. Additionally, we're going to start talking about MC moves. So these are Master of Ceremony moves, and they have different levels of that they can be applied at. They have softest, soft, hard, and hardest moves, right? Which is I love that. And so basically, this is the game saying this is how this game kind of carefully goes out into dealing with how directly a mistress of ceremony is going to hit the player characters, which is really a really interesting thing to think about at the mechanical level, right? All right, so here are some of the mistress of ceremony moves, the GM moves, air quotes GM. Put someone on the spot, put a player character. Take something away, and think of these as the GM doing this to a player character, right? Bring clan politics in. Okay, so we talked about this game works on clans, right? And so you're going to bring clan politics in. Harm one or many. That's a move. That's a move in this game. In Dungeons & Dragons, it's virtually what the Dungeon Master is doing just a ton of the time, right? But here, it's a very calculated choice. You're going to bring harm to one or more of the player characters. Brilliant. I love the way these are worded, right? Show the shadow's reach. So the shadow in the watch is this wave of bad things that are coming in. These creatures. Actually, it's like a mat. It's not creatures. It's a wave of evil that's kind of sweeping in. And when the shadow comes in, it actually converts the watch's soldiers into fighting units on the shadow's side, right? And essentially the game says that men and trans men are susceptible to that, okay? Tempt someone, right? Tempt someone with power, specifically. That's a move. This is something that a GM would be doing to the PC. Use words instead of spears. Reveal a new piece to the puzzle. This is big. This is huge. I love this in my game. I call them campaign mysteries. And here, this game is doing the same thing. It's mapping mystery into the game and saying your game should have little mini mysteries in it. Each session had one or two small mysteries in it, right? Where did the dog bury that bone? Something as tiny as that. Or, when this player character went out and went onto the front lines, and that player character suspects that their loved one who stayed behind was unfaithful. Were they unfaithful or were they not? That's a campaign mystery. And here you can reveal a puzzle piece, right? So basically, that's one of the really cool things about Powered by the Apocalypse games is they take things that game masters do and they set a mechanic to it, right? And this allows you to really just understand what you're doing and make conscious choices of when you're doing them. And then you can monitor your frequency and you can monitor your level of intensity, right? It really, just reading PBTA games really helps you to think very differently on how to be a game master and what being a game master really is, all right? It's interesting. I hate to say this, but I really just don't play PBTA games almost ever because they're so niche, right? I really only feel that PBTA games are really played well by game designers who are GMing to other game designers. But there's so many golden ideas out that can come out of these games that can be ported to other games. And so I think, solid, skilled veteran game masters should be reading PBTA games, right? All right. Give them an opportunity with or without cost, right? Give the player characters an opportunity without cost. Reveal a secret to the wrong people. Reveal a secret to the wrong people. It's awesome. These are all things that I think a lot of Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Masters have done, right? But haven't thought about the frequency and the intensity that these moves are applied, these tools are applied, right? Make them weary or surrender to weariness. Make them weary or make them surrender to weariness. Again, it's just something that this game does that Dungeons & Dragons just doesn't even have the space for, right? Is, how in a Dungeons & Dragons game can you convey to your players that their player characters are becoming wearied, are becoming exhausted. Dungeons & Dragons struggled so much with this issue, and the Watch uses this so powerfully throughout it, right? And then after every move, what do you do? So, and it's just making you think. As a dungeon master, you make the move, and then and then you're going to. I'm sorry. The way they handled this is, they're saying to the mistress of ceremonies, they're saying to the dungeon master, the game master, in the Watch, after you make a move, you're saying you as the MC say you do your move, and then you literally say to the player character, "What do you do? I've taken an action. What is your response to that?" Right? This goes back to Dungeons & Dragons. If I'm in Dungeons & Dragons game and I take a goblin as a dungeon master and I hit you to your player character, I don't have to ask, what do you do next, right? They're going to stab back, right? But what about all those other aspects of the game where you're taking an action as a dungeon master, but often it doesn't connect to the players that they have a next move, right? So that's really important. So I think that's really interesting to think about. All right, let's talk about threat moves. So basically, threats in this game are impulses plus moves. There are traditionalists, radicals, shadow agents, and the people, right? And these are all essentially filters that you can use to run the specific watch game through. So you can have, a traditional type game. You can have radicals that are showing up. You can have shadow agents who are within the camp, who have gone back to the barricades, right, and have infiltrated. It's a really interesting aspect of the game. And then the people, which is a game that is focused more on the people themselves at the barricades, not the ones who are on the front lines, right? It's just a different way to play the game. The game talks about missions, campaigning against the shadows. It also talks about mission moves, so watch their backs, navigate and strategize. These are all mission moves that the player characters can use when they're out. Recon, lookout, taking point. All of these are specific moves that can be used. Also, so that's the different types of moves. Those are the secondary moves. Those are the MC moves, and those are the mission moves that can be used within the game. Again, this is just the watch is really what Anna Kreider accomplished with the watch is truly incredible. Absolute must read for every skilled veteran dungeon master, game master out there. Take a look. Take care. Thank you.